How are you, Nick? Good to speak to you.
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, so I watched that debate tonight, and I have to say to you that I think it's probably up there as one of the worst debates I think I've ever seen. It was flatter than a pancake.
Really?
Yeah, I think what I found astonishing about it was that apart from Tom Tugendhat, who I have to say probably was the one thing that came out of it, I thought, you know what, yeah, he deserves a bit of credit because he done something the politicians don't usually do, which is that he answered a simple question with a simple answer.
Right.
It was a yes or no question, and he just said, no,
Yes.
Boris Johnson is not truthful.
Right.
The others sort of skipped round the point, and I felt were still going at lengths to make sure they still kind of defended Boris a bit in there, even though they've just booted him. And then you had Penny Mordaunt just after Tom Tugendhat, when Krishnan was speaking, jumping in to talk over him and go, oh, by the way, he got Brexit done, we can't forget that.
Oh, God.
You know, as if she had just suddenly looked down at her script and remembered, oh, that's right, I didn't mention that he got Brexit done, even though he didn't.
No,
by the way, he didn't get Brexit done.
Of course not.
So I thought the whole thing was farcical. Also, what always frustrates me about these kinds of debates as well, coming from a Scottish perspective, is that this is not just about who's going to be the leader of the Tories. This is now the leader who's going to be the leader of the country, or you know, who's going to be Prime Minister.
Yeah.
But they aren't just going to be Prime Minister for England. So why don't they have any representation from Welsh people there or a Scottish person there to actually ask them a question like? Because none of them have answered or have even spoke about how they're going to deal with the revolution, how they're going to deal with the nationalist agenda that's being pushed up here.
They're going to deal with it by ignoring it and not letting you have a democratic say in where you want to go. You get pulled down with whatever the English decide.
Well, I personally do think under a good government, both up here and down there, that we are better together. But the fact that it's ignored consistently like that, it's frustrating. And the thing is, as well, none of them looked like... I mean, look, Rishi Sunak was certainly the most polished, right? He was the most statesmanlike. He was one you could imagine most elect him as being Prime Minister because he is that way. He's a well-educated, very rich man. He is quite well polished. But, you know, Tom Tugendhat, as I say, was the only one who was remotely human-like. And I find it insane, though, because obviously Penny Mordaunt seems to be the right-wing media darling. She's the one that they want. And I'm thinking, if you put it in perspective, since the Conservatives took place, our four Prime Ministers could be listed as follows. A smooth fool, who had...
Oh, no, can't go there. Thanks, Craig. He's strayed a little off course there. Never mind, better luck next time. 0345 6060 973. Went back into a recent past and started talking about something that he had heard about David Cameron.
I think this is nonsense.
Yeah, well, I think it's appalling, but that has nothing to do with it. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, you have to remember that they're not interested in what we think. That TV debate wasn't for us. It was for a totally unrepresentative sample of golf club bores. That's who they're appealing to. Golf club bores who think that I don't know. And that's why all those videos that they made, it's all about Spitfires and dam busters and flags and bulldogs and, oh, for crying out loud, they just want to live in a Dad's Army world. It's excruciating. They sit at home, spend their entire life watching the bloomin' History Channel, as though it's the only thing that this country's ever done. Be a part of the Second World War, be on the side that won. Of course, they wouldn't like to hear that. They don't want to think that we were on the side that won. They want to kid themselves that we won. You know, as though America and Russia had nothing to do with it. So that's why it is as it is because they don't care what we think. They're not interested in us. Not now. In a couple of years they will be, and then they'll pretend that they were interested in us all the time. Always concerned for the little people, not leprechauns. But right now, they're just interested in the golf club bores. couple of 100,000 of Buffton Tuftons with their blooming beige corduroy action slacks that they bought out the back of from an advert in the back of the Daily Telegraph. That's the people they're after. God, it's just all so awful. What is that noise? Oh, it's my card. My security pass is making a noise. Unless it's my chair. But you know me, I never complain.
Stop whining.
0345 6060 973. Waz texts, settle this for me. Is it an ice pop or an ice pole? Those frozen tubes. Are you talking about Jacob Rees-Mogg? That frozen tube. Helen texts, I went out for a meal on Sunday and the restaurant had no draft beer or cider.
What?
Almost no bottled beer and no bottled cider either. And the reason for no draft was there is a shortage of gas. Why does the UK fall apart in hot, cold, snow, rain and wind? I thought that we'd got past that gas problem, that the gas issue had been solved. I can't remember quite what it was. It was like carbon dioxide? There was a lack of carbon dioxide. Of course, the carbon dioxide is everywhere, but not in a form that you can squirt up booze. Didn't we have to pay some American millions of pounds to keep his factory open? God, this government of financial geniuses is such an easy mark. I mean, it's just dreadful. People see them coming miles away. PPE that won't work for £100 million? Of course. Gary says, on the Tory leadership debate on TV today, the studio audience were asked to raise a hand if they trusted politicians, and nobody in the audience raised a hand. The leadership candidates must have felt very proud of the morally depraved direction in life they've chosen. They don't care, Gary. They're in already, not remotely interested in what we think. I keep saying it. I don't know what we've done to deserve this, but it must have been pretty blooming awful. Glasgow. Hello, Rob.
Hi there, Nick.
Rob.
I was just phoning up about your comments earlier. You were talking about the culture war that's going on, and it really concerns me because as a gay man myself, we are finding online there's a lot of hatred and a lot of misinformation that's been shared about trans people, and of course to see them tonight going down the exact same route and repeating some of this misinformation. A lot of people forget that at the end of the day there are people behind this. Trans people are getting subjected to more and more abuse, and the organisation, the non-profit that I run, we get a lot of third-party reports of hate crimes, and what we're seeing is the very phraseology that's used by politicians is being repeated by people who are then kind of attacking or going after trans people. And of course, just a few minutes after the debate, the Telegraph put a tweet out saying that Krishnan Guru Murthy, the presenter, was a woke presenter who criticised everybody. And it's just, I think that's the thing, is that a lot of the time the politicians are, particularly in this contest, they're engaging in who can be the most boring, out of touch and non-committal as possible.
Yeah.
But behind that, the thing that concerns me is we're seeing this recycled homophobia that, from a bygone era almost, creeping back in and being applied to trans and non-binary people.
It never went anywhere, Rob.
Yeah.
People just didn't express it out loud because they felt it was not the done thing. And you have to remember who they're appealing to. They're not appealing to you or me or anybody else. They're appealing to 82-year-old duffers who are members of the Conservative Party. And they're all the blooming same. I'll say it again. They're the bores that prop up the bar at the golf club. That's who they're appealing to. And it's the same thing over and over again. It's fear of the new, fear of the different, and fear of the minorities. And you can chart it throughout history. The invention of teenagers was the first thing that was shocking because they didn't dress like their parents did. And then it was the Teddy Boys who were equally shocking because they listened to that rock and roll music.
Rock and roll!
Which was the devil's work. And they carried flick knives and all the rest of it. And then it was the greasers who wore leather jackets. What are you rebelling against? What have you got? That kind of thing. And then it was the hippies with their whole thing.
Groovy.
And taking, drugs and sitting under trees and humming to themselves, which was apparently a great danger to humankind. Smoking marijuana.
Want to score some pot?
And that was going to be the end of humankind. What happened after that? Punk rock. With the spitting and the bouncing up and down and the green hair. And that was going to be the end of society as we know it. And then people were dancing in fields. Ruining grass. It's something new all the time. It sells papers and it gets people elected. Because the people, and here's the reason why, is because the old people, the frightened ones, they will vote. You know absolutely and with total surety that they will go out and vote 100% of the time. Nothing will stop them. Younger people, the ones with green hair and bolts through their face and who are bouncing up and down in a field and taking handfuls of who knows what, they won't go out and vote because it's boring and they're all the same and nothing ever changes and I can't be bothered, and all that. And so, kids, you get nothing. 034, thanks a lot, Rob. 0345 6060 973. And that's what the woke thing is. It's the new punk or hippies or something comes along every 10 years that's new and people clutch their pearls to the chest and have a Victorian fainting fit. Ain't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Gibbon, we are doing a radio show, but it reminds me that I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while laughing our faces off.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think you'll be amused. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. Now, if you have an issue that you want us to solve, simply send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com, nickandcarol@global.com, and prepare for total satisfaction. You can find it where you get your podcasts. It's on Global Player, which you absolutely should have in your life. It's got all the radio stations that we do and a boatload of podcasts to boot. Global Player is available at your favourite app store. Ask for it by name, the podcast called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. Leicester. Hello, David.
There's three things I'd like to say. One I thought of when you had the last call on. The first one was that audience with the ministers and the candidates for Prime Minister, they weren't selling themselves to the audience because they need to sell themselves to the MPs. So that's probably why it was not very good. I didn't enjoy it at all.
They were really selling themselves to the membership, who are going to be the deciders, because apparently we're not allowed to. Yeah, correct.
One of the.
Do you have a persistent cough?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling very well.
Oh, please tell me more about it.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Go ahead.
I think I've got the flu actually. But
the flu. Oh.
Well, I did a coronavirus test and nothing came up, so I was happy about that.
So you failed that test?
Yeah, I failed that test.
Right.
So, what I was going to say, I can't remember which candidate it was, but for the cost of living crisis, they said that they would halve the VAT on fuel, on gas, on diesel and petrol. So if your fuel's at £2, which it tends to be around Leicester, it comes down to 183. So that's a nice. I wouldn't say bonus, but it's a nice thing for him to do if he gets in.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but I suppose it's better than nothing.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, does it? And I go to a college in Leicester. I'm not going to say the college. There's a few in Leicester. and I was off ill quite a bit last term, so they let me come in and complete some studies so I could get through to the next year. They're very, very helpful. I went into the gents, and now they've got a sanitary towel bin there. So the men that are on periods, they can put the sanitary towels in.
Well, that's just a good idea. You ain't dragging me down that lane, David. No. But anyway, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Janet says, we've flown to Crete today to escape the heat. Yeah, we looked at going to the English seaside, but it was cheaper to fly here and have an all-inclusive versus a B&B in Western super mud. Madness. Yeah, I look at going on holiday here, and it does seem to be ridiculously expensive, doesn't it? And particularly as you can't really predict the weather at all. Whereas if you go to somewhere like Crete, you know pretty much what you're going to get. Or Spain, or France, or Italy, or any of these places. But if you book ahead, say you want to go maybe at the end of August to Cornwall or something like that, well, it could be freezing blooming cold. It could be snowing at the end of August. You've got no idea what you're going to get. But if you drive there, then your luggage will probably arrive with you. So there is that. Elisa, Leeds.
Oh, hi.
Elisa, there you are.
Yes, hi. Okay, so two things.
A couple of things.
Yes, two things. Two things, yes.
A couple of three things.
One about the weather and the other one was about politics. So, weather, first of all. I do love you and I do love your show,
but yes.
I'm just so sick of all these people who keep saying that everyone who complains about the weather is a snowflake.
Are you?
Well, no, I don't think so.
No, are you sick of it?
Oh, yes, no, I am sick of it. I'm not a snowflake.
Are you sure about that? You're not a snowflake?
Yeah, I'm quite sure about that.
Okay, then. What's the weather like there at the moment there, Elisa?
Actually, today, it's quite cold and breezy, but on Monday, it was really, really hot, and honestly, I struggled to work.
Stop whining!
I do think that a lot of people do struggle.
Well, now, what do you do for work there, Elisa?
I work from home, so I'm basically in my house.
Yeah.
And my house is built to retain heat. So.
Well, now, hang on a minute. If it's built to retain heat, then it's also, by definition, built to repel heat.
No, did not work. Literally on Monday, I went into every single room of the house and there was no air. Literally, I could not get any air anywhere. Outside
does your house come with windows?
Yes, but it doesn't work. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't work. So I went outside and you can't take a breath. You can't breathe properly. I had my feet in a bowl of cold water.
You had your seat in a bowl of cold water? That's a little bit too much information there, Elisa.
Well, no, that's what people say to do to deal with the heat. So I had my feet in a bowl of cold water.
You put your seat in a bowl of cold water.
Yes, no, I put my feet in a bowl of cold water. Oh, your
feet. Right, that makes more sense.
Feet in a bowl of cold water.
Bowl of cold water, yeah, not seat. Feet.
No.
Right.
And that's because that's what people said, it's supposed to cool you down.
Yes.
And I had a cold flannel on my head and on my neck because that's what people said to do.
Yeah.
And the fan facing me. And I was trying to work, because I work from home. So I was trying to
But what
work.
do you do? You're a gym instructor at home making fitness videos. No.
No, I work in an admin job, so it's just on the computer, but I have to concentrate, and the heat really gets to me. I'm one of those people who just really can't stand the heat.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that there are people out there who really struggle with the heat.
Yeah.
and it really affects your concentration. So I was really, really trying to focus on, working, but at the same time I was thinking, oh my God, I'm about to pass out.
Now, do you, hang on a minute, whoa. Do you live in a flat or a house?
It's a house, but it's a new build house, so it's built to retain the heat.
Yes, but if it retains the heat, then it also repels the heat. Because if it's insulated, then it should keep the temperature inside fairly even. That's the point.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. So
Are you sure about that, though?
I am. Well, right. I experienced it, so I am sure. So
now, wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Is your house double decker? Have you got an upstairs?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we do.
Now, have you tried this? Have you tried opening all the windows upstairs?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I've tried everything. This is what I'm trying to tell you, if you'll just listen. I've tried everything. I've tried opening all the windows. I've tried all the advice, closing the curtains, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Feet in the cold bowl of water, flannel on the head, on the neck as well, some people said.
Yeah, you're sitting in a bucket of water. Yeah.
Yes. And it's not working, and I'm still, almost passing out. And there are lots of people out there who have underlying health conditions and all sorts of things. I mean, I'm just a person who just doesn't deal with heat very well.
Yeah, you're one of those normal snowflakes with the whinging and the whining and the moaning.
Okay. Right, but that's
let me ask you this, Elisa. Have you tried turning the heating down?
The heating was not on at all.
Ah, right. Well, that's probably a good move on your part.
Right, okay. Well, you know what? Shall we just get on to politics then? Because you're clearly just not going to listen to me about the weather.
Unfortunately, Elisa, we've spent all of our allotted time talking about the weather. Unfortunately, so no, it's a no from me.
No.
If you'd only spent less time talking about your seat, then we would have had, more time to discuss other issues. But sadly not. Better luck next time. But do try that turning the heating down a bit, a couple of notches, and you might feel the benefit. That's my best advice to you. You're welcome. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
What in places goes on inside that head of yours? Yeah! Dudes!
Paul texts, regarding 1976, the UK and France experienced a blip in an otherwise average temperatured Europe. Now the heatwave is virtually global. Sit back down, boomers. Yeah, it's getting hotter out there. There's no question about it. No doubt about it. And not just here, there, and everywhere, baby. So Paul is completely correct in every respect. A group, you're not going to like this, so grip onto something firm. A group of poorly squirrels have overheated during the hot weather and been taken in by an animal shelter on the Channel Island of Jersey. Isn't that upsetting? They are being cared for by the JSPCA, the Jersey Society for the Promotion of Cruelty to Animals. 5 squirrels were taken to them in a week. The heat is thought to be giving the squirrels a dehydration and forcing them from nests. The team have been hand-raising them and giving pain relief and fluids, after which they will peel them, baste them in oil and heat them in the oven at 200 degrees till crispy on the outside. That is finger-licking good. 0345 6060 973. Edward texts, the summer of 1911 was recorded as 98.1 Fahrenheit. I well remember the summer of 76. I hate the heat, but I just get on with things, says Edward. Yeah, you just get on with things. And furthermore...
Stop whining.
So what's up with the horse chestnuts? I mean, I assume that it is horse chestnuts. I can't... All trees look alike to me. I mean, most of them. But there's a certain tree that is looking very, very sick at the moment. And I wonder if they're catching a disease. Maybe they've got some sort of a tree version of the mad bat disease. They should wear a mask. But either that or the lack of rain has specifically affected that particular tree. And I wish I knew which one it was. But all of the ones around me are looking very, very ill. Very ill. Hey, trees.
Stop whining.
Stephen emails, tonight I thought I had turned into an episode of The Undateables, but it was the Tory leaders debate. What's The Undateables? I bet it's on Channel 4. I bet it is. Don't tell me what it is. I don't want to know. That channel's in danger of being privatised. Richard texts, if Liz Truss says deliver one more time, I'm going to scream. And yes, I am shouting, he says, all in capital letters. Well, I wish I'd seen it now. Well, I kind of don't, but I probably should have done. But I was driving in at the time, and as I've said before, you're not allowed to drive and watch television at the same time. It's a European Union rule. The ECHR messing about with our business. So all I know about it is what I read in the Times. And I read the Times on the internet.
I know nothing.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
What do I know about it? All I know is what's on the internet.
All I know is what's on the internet. When are you going? Well, he's got to be going to jail soon, doesn't he? Spending some jail time with his dingling friends. Mordaunt failed to live up to expectations, says the Super Soaraway Times. Tom Tugendhat, that's how he pronounces it. It looks to me like Tom Tugendhat, but he says heart. Tom Tugendhat had the least to lose from this debate and Petty Mordaunt the most, and on both counts it showed, says the Times. Tugendhat is the rank outsider, likely to be the next person evicted from the competition because he's too normal. Normal doesn't cut it in this race. You've got to have extra to get anywhere in this race. Remember who you're appealing to. It's just amazing what's happening in this country. I don't recognise this country anymore. This used to be a normal country. We used to get along just fine. Things were not brilliant, but people would get along in their daily business and say, "Oh yeah, no, this, I don't like this and don't like that," but mass and grumble, and everything just sort of ticked along. And then since who came aboard,
yeah. Wait.
This entire boat's flipped upside down and is sinking. We're actually sitting on top of the hull. The boat is upside down. And we still got people saying, well, we made the right decision to flip the boat upside down. Now we've just got to make it work. For crying out loud. Heather text, what is it? What's what? What is it? The horse chestnut leaf miner. Cameraria oridilla is a tiny little moth, slightly smaller than a grain of rice. Its larvae live inside the leaves of a horse chestnut tree and mine their way through the green part of the leaf. It makes the leaves turn brown. You're welcome, says Heather.
Thank you.
So is that what is going on then? Oh, there's a picture of the moth. Oh, I don't like it. Take it off my screen. As in right now. I mean it. Get rid of it. Take it away. There, I've done it myself. Well, somebody should do something about that because it's making the trees brown. I don't like brown. Sam texts, I'm going to bottle some of this heat and use it in winter to save on fuel bills. Well, that's just a good idea, Sam. Kilburn. Hello, Joseph.
Good morning, Nick. Calling from the 1950s when everything was really normal.
Yes.
I'm talking about the chestnut leaves you've been mentioning this evening. It's called leaf mold, but your previous lady has been more scientific about the matter.
So is that a thing at the moment then?
Yes, it's called leaf mold. It's diabolical. It's infecting all the chestnut trees. If you go to Kew Gardens, it's really bad out there. The ancient chestnut trees are getting it now. It's prevalent throughout the country, unfortunately.
Is it climate change?
No, I think it's, as the lady caller message to you, it's a tiny critter. It's a critter. Yeah.
Well, we seem to be beset with critters.
Critters.
Well, we do, because boxers.
They're all true. They're all telling the truth, Nick.
Yeah, no, I believe that's correct in every way, shape, and form. Yeah, of course. Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is that boxers, box hedges, they're under attack and they're dying, and now we've got blooming horse chestnuts dying. I like horse chestnut trees. So why isn't someone doing something about it?
The elm trees are dying as well, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. They're cutting down.
It's all over. It's all over.
It is all over, yeah. We're doomed.
Great show, Nick.
Thanks a lot, Joseph. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. See, I thought that was just me losing my mind, but apparently it's a thing. They're all dying. Why isn't somebody doing something about it? Get on with it, Bodge.
Yeah. Wait.
It's not like you're doing anything else. What is he doing, by the way? Where is he? Oh, he's working at Checkers. Yeah, sure he is. Kath texts, it's totally different coping with the heat here than when you're on holiday. When I'm on holiday, there's a swimming pool to cool off, and my accommodation has air conditioning so you can get respite from the heat and get a good night's sleep. That kind of heat here is brutal when you've got to work, cook and clean in it during the day, and it's too hot to sleep at night. I'm dreading it. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for the vulnerable and the elderly. Also, it's not just in England. In North Wales, it's going to be 30 to 35 degrees on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, says Kath. Hey, Kath.
Stop whining.
Well, we're going to have to get used to it because this is our future. It's going to get a lot hotter. Actually, it could go the other way. It could get a lot cooler. That's what I heard from a scientific expert, that some of the rest of the world is going to be baking hot, such that it will burst into flames, as it has done. But here, our summers will be cooler and wetter. Ain't that typical? Every now and again, we'll get a couple of nice days like this one coming up. Just take a break, Kath. Get some ice in the freezer. Stock up on tequila and lime, and Bob's your uncle. And you can thank me later. No, wait. I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
Jim says the problem with chestnut trees is not new. I first noticed it years ago. The leaves turn brown early in the year, and on close inspection you can see holes in them, presumably made by some sort of parasite, but not a clue as to what it might be. Well, you should listen to this show, Jim, because this is an educational programme, isn't it?
No.
How about Guildford? Peter.
Hello, Nick.
Peter.
How are you? All right?
I am great, mate.
Yeah, I made a mistake tonight. I got a bit curious, and I actually watched the leadership debate.
An error.
And oh God, you didn't miss anything, Nick. Good. I tell you,
right.
They were as bland can be.
Yeah.
And they were going on about was tax cuts and a few other things. I gave up in the end. I couldn't watch them. And none of them stood out. They're all going on about tax cuts. And it struck me on the news earlier, before that, I was watching about how the ambulance service is in crisis.
Yeah.
And the NHS is in crisis.
Right.
And these people are talking about tax cuts.
Yes.
And as you so often say, Nick, tax cuts on the whole benefit the rich.
Of course.
The poorer people get a couple of quid back on their on their wages.
Yeah.
But most of it goes to the people at the top.
And it's worse than that, because the money gets distributed from the poor to the rich, but then they have to, well, they don't have to, but they do cut the services that the poor rely on. So it's like a double whammy. Tax cuts are not for most of us. They pretend that they are. They pretend that, we're giving you an enormous amount of money, but it's the reverse of that, and it'll be more austerity. They're going to decrease the amount of money that they'll be given to councils, who will have to decrease the amount that they have to spend on the things that we all rely on. You know, the stuff that is not in the news, but is the boring stuff of life, like the care in the community and the libraries and the street lights and, you know, all that dull stuff that doesn't make the news that people rely on every day. All that will get cut just so that millionaires can get a small bung. God, it's painful.
Yeah, people, ordinary people, the majority of people will lose their public services just to make that few at the top even richer still.
Well, those are the people that they're aiming their comments at. The people that will benefit from tax cuts. That's why they're obsessed about tax cuts, is because the people who are members of the Conservative Party are the ones that will benefit.
Yeah, it's payback time.
That demographic.
Yeah, it's payback. When I heard your earlier caller, I thought he summed up the Tory party really well. Selfishness. I'm all right, Jack.
Right.
Not everybody else. So, and that, like you said, those sort of people are the ones that they are appealing to, trying to appeal to.
That's precisely the demographic that they're after. That's why so many people have called in and said, God, you know, they didn't really appeal to me at all. They're not trying to appeal to you. They're appealing over your heads to a couple of 100,000 totally unrepresentative old geezers who are members of the Tory party. All right, thanks a lot, Peter. 0345 6060 973. It is excruciating. Why is this happening to me? You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. John texts, spare a thought for garden snails who will frazzle in their little house. No. No. How about slugs? They haven't even got a little house. And I don't care about them either. LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
Diane texts, fortunately Liz Truss did not start talking about cheese imports again tonight. Better be safe than sorry. Oh, painful, Diane. Andrew texts, if the whole world is going to have a drought, let's all move to Glasgow. Well, that is a good point, yeah. You're going to have to budge up, Glaswegians. Rona says, I laughed so hard at that statement from Smug and Doris when they threw their weight behind Liz Truss. Yeah. I mean, it is a clown show, isn't it? Honestly, just stop and think about what's going on and who is taking part in this passing parade. It's embarrassing. This is the best of us? I don't think so. You know, there was something interesting that I read about Kemi Badenoch, about what she said, something that she said in that thing tonight. I had to do a little bit of research. I'll come to that in a minute. Windsor. Hello, Michelle.
Oh, hello.
Marbelle.
How are you?
Great, mate.
Good. I just want to talk to you about this, all these trees getting poorly and getting more and more sick.
Poor trees.
I know, it's terrible. I thought they might be like sycamore trees.
Oh, Michelle, I am in pain. You did not just say that.
Oh,
no. Walk away in shame. Oh, thanks a lot, Michelle. By which I mean, thanks a lot, Michelle. George texts, for the benefit of your listeners, can you please clarify who is actually running the country at the moment? Or do we have to wait for this leadership election nonsense to end to find somebody to admit to being in charge of this mess? Excellent point, George. Any idea, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Because we know he ain't doing nothing. At all. He wasn't interested in doing anything when he was supposed to be in charge. Now he's a caretaker. A caretaker. He's like the caretaker in Scooby-Doo that tells you, hey, kids, you don't want to go in that fair. Josie texts, I'm driving up to Glasgow tomorrow to escape red alert. It should be a bearable temperature. I'll send you a postcard and let you know. Josie, there ain't no such thing as a postcard anymore. Does anybody send postcards anymore? Well, people don't send letters. I know that. Phil tweets, so the big topic of debate amongst Tory leadership hopefuls was trans rights. Well, I'm reassured. How about you? Yeah, it's just another one of those things that comes along that makes old people feel like their world is being shaken to dust. And something new will come along, and in a couple of years it'll be something else. They go. If it wasn't like that in my day, they'll go. I wonder if that is going to be a feature in the future, because, old people now aren't like they used to be then. Okay. We were grand when I were a lad. A 50-year-old seemed like really, really old when we were growing up, didn't they? Because they were. A 60-year-old, forget about it. And 70, oh, blimey, how are you even alive? But now, being 60, it doesn't seem that old. I cannot believe it. And I have to look to see what year it is just to remember. I am 62 years old. What? But I don't feel 30. And I know that's not the case before. So generations are getting younger in their feelings and their approach to life as time goes on. And so if that's what some 60-year-olds feel like now, imagine in 10 or 20 years what 60-year-olds are going to feel like. I mean, it's not the same anymore. People don't... That sort of calcification of your brain ain't going to be the same anymore. That sort of cementing in of old geezers' opinions and feelings and thoughts about things, that will change. So maybe that will herald the end of the Conservative Party as we know it. Because if you look at the demographics, it's the 60-pluses that vote Tory. It doesn't really come down to social class anymore either, like your ABC ones and that. Oddly, it's sort of flipped around. The poorer you are, the more likely you are to vote Conservative. Explain that to me, I double dare you. Mystifying. As though the last 12 years have been good for the poor. But they seem ever more keen to vote for the party that's done it to them. Weird. But I get that the old want to vote Conservative because, they appeal to that poor demographic. But 60-pluses aren't going to think the same way in 10 or 20 years' time as they do now, as they did 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And as those 60-pluses, 70, 80, 90-year-olds will eventually, I hate to break the news to you, you're going to fall off the conveyor belt of life. They're going to be replaced by people who don't think like that at that same age. They think younger. So this may be the swan song, the final hurrah of the Conservative Party. Hurrah! 0345 6060 973. So I haven't quite got through the end of what the Times has said, and there's an interesting thing that they said that Kemi Badenoch said about dentistry. I'll come to that in a minute. Let's see. Let's have Southend. Hello, Danny.
Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm looking at the chestnut trees. It's GM crops at a guess because we keep modifying stuff. All these little biospheres, they disappear. We're killing off little animals which eat each other. And now all of a sudden we've got something that's getting at the chestnut trees that it didn't multiply enough before.
Right. I understood almost all of the words you said, just not in the order in which you put them. You're saying that genetically modified crops have killed animals that eat each other So
Yeah.
the
It's
pests.
possibly killed off something in the chain,
Right.
which is holding down a little species
Right.
that used to attack the chestnut tree.
Right.
For
Okay.
instance.
Yeah. Well, I get that. That is a logical possibility. But we don't really have GM crops in this country, do we?
Well, I think you'll find we've got a lot of GM crops, but you might not know all about it.
Well, I certainly do not know all about it. I could look it up, but that would be homework, and I don't do homework. But thanks for the good advice there, Danny. If only I was any good at this job, I would actually look that up, but sadly not. Steve tweets, my sister had coffee with Penny Mordaunt once. She said she was a very nice, genuine lady. I hope she wins and Sunak and Truss don't get in. There will be the same old book, but with a snazzy new dust cover on it. Your sister had coffee with Penny Mordaunt once. Well, I have a multitude of questions about that. Why? Where? What was the occasion? What did they say? What led your sister to believe that she was a very nice and genuine lady? You're going to have to give us a bit more information than that, Steve. Otherwise, no sale. Let's have St Helens. Hello, Val.
Hello, love.
Val.
Hello, love. How much is the House of Lords costing this country? How much do their red gowns cost? Kids are going to go without meals in the summer holidays, no school meals. They just play games with the poor.
Yes, they're not remotely interested in what you think.
Pardon?
And how much does it cost? Too bloomin' much. I think you'll find is the answer to that question. Yeah. They address their policies to the people that will vote for them. And those people are 60 plus. The poor don't seem to mind the amount of punishment they get. They keep voting for the party that punishes them anyway. It's like we've got this sort of masochistic streak. Thank you, sir. May I have another? I don't get it, but, I'll just add it to the list of things I don't get in life. Do you get it, Val?
No.
No.
Explain what you want me to guess.
It.
What's it?
Well, that's a very good question, but unfortunately we've not got enough time to get into that. We can't get into philosophy on this show, Val. But appreciate the call. 0345 6060 973. Sue emails, do you think that having the initials PM count as nominative determinism? No, Sue. No. But BJ does. Doug says, have you ever wondered why Rishi Sunak's trousers always seem a bit short? Yeah. Also, there's something weird about him. He's just so thin. He's got this massive head. He looks like a Pez dispenser. This huge head on this like stick insect body in this tight little suits. I don't know. If I had his money, I think I'd present myself a little bit better than that. He always looks like he's just shown up for a job on the Grattan catalogue. With that scared look in his eyes. How many times can I say it? He looks like a puppy that's been taken to the vet. Get fixed. Anyway, there's more. He says, have you ever wondered why Rishi Sunak's trousers always seem a bit short? Maybe it's due to the cost of living crisis. He simply cannot afford enough material. Or maybe his billionaire wife doesn't realise that they're dry clean only and puts them in the washing machine with his socks and pants. What do you think, says Doug? I'd rather not think about his socks and pants if that's okay with you, Doug. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. So did you hear that thing that Kemi Badenoch said about the dentist? Because that struck me as a bit weird. But I'll come to that in a minute. Oh, look, it's 12:30 on LBC, the news headlines with Holly Jones.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yes, the old bag is right. 0345 6060 973. Jane texts, the poor trees are dealing with some moth infestation. Luckily, the moths mark all the trunks with a red cross, so that's nice. Pauline says, did you see the Speaker shouting at the Scottish MPs this week? Yes, I did. He completely lost his rag. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know where to put himself. What are their names? I don't know. I think the Speaker is defective. I think we need to replace the Speaker. Let's get the old one back. He was funny. Livingston. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Hi. Well, you were just saying people who look like other people. I think I've seen photos of you, and you look like Dougal at the Magic Roundabout.
Dougal from the Magic Roundabout.
Groovy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time for bed. Thanks a lot, Michael. 0345 6060 973. Just as long as I don't look like Zebedee, because that bloke's a weirdo. Jan tweets, I'm going to join the Conservative Party and vote for Miriam Margolis. She's the only hope we have left. See, I would have thought that I look more like Dylan the Rabbit.
Yowza.
I'm going to certainly look like Dylan the Rabbit during the course of this week. I am going to be horizontal, baby. Darius says, if Scotland can manage to gain independence from number 10, do you think the rest of the UK can follow suit? Yeah, maybe we should build a wall around number 10. In fact, that's a good idea. I mean, they've already got a fence around them. If we could just brick up that fence.
I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall.
Yeah, you should come over here and build a wall. Winchmore Hill. Hello, Jessica. Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm from California, and I'm staying in London. I don't get what the fuss is about the heat. I'm pretty used to it.
Well, you're used to it, but in California, everywhere you go is air-conditioned to the point of practically freezing.
Yeah, that's true, but the heat isn't that bad.
Well, it isn't now, but you wait a couple of days, and then you'll be moaning.
Okay. Well, so far it hasn't been. I've been here since the end of June.
Yeah, but it hasn't been hot yet.
Hasn't it?
No.
Okay. What's your idea of hot then?
Well, hot is what's going to happen on Monday and Tuesday. And trust me, without air conditioning where you are, you will be complaining.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you wait that long?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. Well, I'll be here. And by that method, we'll both be where we are. It sounds like a plan. Thanks a lot, Jessica. 0345 6060 973. Keith tweets, this is the way he speaks. He says, most Conservative members are at death's door, so there will be less of them voting for our next PM. Sounds democratic to me. So this is what the Times said about that mess on TV. And keep in mind that they weren't appealing to you, like literally and figuratively. They were not appealing to you. They didn't have you in mind. They had the old duffer who props up the bar in the golf club. That's who's going to be voting for our next dear leader. Painful. Mordaunt's rise to plausible Prime Minister has been so sudden it's reasonable to wonder if it's based on something solid or whether, in fact, it might soon be seen as a passing fad, says the Times. You know, a passing fad like Kanakas. Do you remember them?
No.
Kanakas. Some people call them clackers, but where I went to school, they were Kanakas, and they were banned. They were 2 balls of plastic, I think. They might as well have been glass. 2 balls of glass or plastic on like a rope. And you used to smash them up and down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is not a very good description. But the end result was they used to smash into about 1,000 little bits and lodge in children's eyes. So they banned them. Probably because of the European Union. Can't do anything these days. It says it was difficult for Mordaunt to live up to the expectations her pre-debate surge in popularity had caused. On this evidence, Mordaunt lacks the confidence, fluency and command of detail to be another David Cameron, let alone Margaret Thatcher. Wow. What do you think, Dave?
I think this is nonsense.
Nonsense, yeah. Mr. Detail. Huh. I'm really surprised at how she has been elevated to the front of the pack with the demographic that matters. Not us. Them. The Bufton Tuftons who are going to be deciding this for us. The denizens of Budleigh Salterton. Those people. It says, Liz Truss, of course, would dearly like to wear the Thatcherite mantle, but the Foreign Secretary's performance seemed oddly off-tone. For a robot, she was impressively lifelike.
Affirmative.
This is the Times. Because I didn't see it, because I was driving in at the time. You're not allowed to drive and watch TV at the same time. European Court of Human Rights. For a robot, she was impressively lifelike. That's rude, and that is a disgrace. Seriously, you've got to watch that. If you haven't seen her speech, I can't remember where it was she was speaking, but she was droning on about pork barrels, pork markets in China, and selling tea to India. Yorkshire tea. And she arranges her face as though expecting guffaws of laughs from her audience, from which none come, only silence. And it is kind of like a robot who has been programmed to pause after these hilarious jokes. And so, because there was no laughter, like a robot would pause for the programmed time, as she did. A real human being would have just moved on. But no. It says, all of which meant that the battle between Truss and Mordaunt for the right to challenge Rishi Sunak was, last night, a no-score draw, with no shots on target either. So Fishy did well out of it, did he? Sunak, who has evidently studied at the Tony Blair School of Political Hand Movements, did his best to represent himself as both the only adult in the room and the only one truly on the side of fabled, hard-working, ordinary voters. That might have worked in front of an audience of floating voters such as that assembled by Channel 4, but a poll of Tory party members is a different matter entirely. Yeah. Not really interested in the little people. Because those people who are going to vote for it, they'll be very, very comfortable in life, which is why they vote Conservative. They'll have made it. That's why they're members of the party. And when you've made it, a certain type of individual will look at those who have not made it and blame them personally for not, achieving as they have, rather ignoring the fact that they have got to their level of prominence and success and wealth mostly by luck. But of course, people who make it, they don't like to consider that luck had any effect in their progress. They convince themselves that it is their own genius and hard work that has got them to where they are, and that luck had nothing to do with it. But of course, luck had everything to do with it. All of life is luck. Did you get born with 2 arms, 2 legs and a head? That's a pretty lucky start. Did you get born in Britain? Very lucky. Did you get born to a middle-class family? Well, your luck keeps getting better and better. Did you get born to a family that did not have to worry about paying the bills? Well, you are one of the luckiest people that's ever lived in the entire history of the world. Did you get born to a well-off family? Did they have 2 cars? Did you go on holiday? Did they send you to a private school? Did they manage to change your shoes every year when your feet grew? Were they interested in your education? Did you grow up in a stable family? Did your parents stay together? All of these things. Just luck, 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 luck. Did they introduce you to somebody who introduced you to somebody who took you to a place where you met somebody who introduced you to someone who was looking for someone for a job? How lucky can you possibly be? But they ignore all of that and just kid to themselves that they've only got to where they are because of hard work, diligence and intelligence, fortitude, all of the rest of it. And those that are not lucky, those that have not had that array of cards that has fallen for them, it's their fault. That's what they like to convince themselves, and that's why that sort of governs policy. It's your fault that you are not as lucky as me. You know, as though you are to blame for being stupid enough not to have picked the right numbers for the lottery. You idiots. You just haven't worked hard enough. You didn't think about it like I did. And that's where we are. And these are the people that are running our lives. People who think that those who are not as fortunate as they are in that position because they don't work hard enough. They didn't work hard enough to get born to rich parents. They selected poor parents to get born to. Can you imagine how stupid they are? They deserve everything they get. And that's where we are. People like this.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's what they think. And then they claim, which winds me up no end, that they are acting according to their faith. Really? And so when you're praying, are you looking up or down? Just curious. Where does your God reside? 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Isleworth. Hello, Ravi.
Yes, Nick, how are you, sir?
I am great, mate.
Well, I looked at Rishi Sunak's trousers.
Yes.
He doesn't know his inside leg measurement, but more importantly, I read somewhere in this High Life Asian magazine that all his suits are tailor-made.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think
they're tailor-made to fit someone else.
If you look closely at the bottom of the trouser, it goes tighter towards the ankle.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that could make him not Prime Minister with the wrong trouser.
Well, I don't think that would exclude him. Maybe they get tight at the ankle in case his pockets wear out with all the cash, and he doesn't want them. He doesn't want all that money spilling out over the pavement.
But Nick, more importantly, I want Penny Mordaunt to be.
Why?
I tell you why. Because she's the only one who kind of sort of was not close with Boris. And I think if you do want a new start, just like we had with Major and Cameron, I think let's go for it because
Tom Tugendhat.
I can't pronounce his surname, so I don't want to go. Could you imagine the speaker saying,
"All right, try it with me." All right,
calm.
hang on a minute. You don't want Tom Tugendhat because you can't pronounce his surname. Try it with me, Ravi. Listen to me.
Okay.
Say Tug.
Tug.
Heart.
Yeah, but how could Lindsay say that? Tugendhat.
There you go. Got there in the end. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Kemi Badnock, I bet you can't pronounce that. She said something about dentistry, which struck me as a bit odd. And so I actually did homework. Can you believe that?
No.
I looked something up. And I'll go to a break and I'll come back and I'll tell you what I found.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
0345 6060 973. Chrissy says the public agreed to a tax increase to protect the NHS as long as it was ring fenced. Yet some candidates are saying they'll cancel the rise. I don't know why we need a rise because I do recall being promised over and over again that we were going to get £350 million a week to squirt up the NHS just as long as we voted to leave the European Union. I guess that wasn't true, was it, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Anybody that ever even saw that bus, let alone rode on it, pretends that it never existed. I think they were disseminating misinformation. Liar! Correct. Cannock, hello, Mel.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Great.
I think, what's the name? Penny
Mordaunt.
Mordaunt, that's it. I think she wish she wasn't favoured because she's been attacked from everywhere. I've just been looking on Twitter. But another thing, Sunak, look at him when he walks. He reminds me of Norman Wisdom. You look at him when he walks. Next time you see him, when you see him walking on TV, you watch him.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's got the sort of the kind of shape of a like a child's toy. His head seems to be way too big for his spindly body. Some people, they go to the gym and they skip leg day. It looks like he's skipped all of it.
Yeah, and I do like your joke about the suit meant for someone else. That was quite funny. You can sell that joke.
Right, okay. Thanks a lot, Mel. 0345 6060 973. An unsolicited testimonial. Let's have Tooting. Jan.
Hi, Nick.
Jan.
Good evening. Yeah, hi. I thought I was ringing because you mentioned about you were digging around with looking into one of the candidates' background. But I heard, I didn't hear the broadcast today with these, the candidates for the PM's role, but I heard Penny Mordaunt speaking on Ian Dale's show the other night.
Yeah.
And what interested me, what stuck in my mind after hearing it was something she said that really sent my alarm bells ringing. I thought I must dig around a bit and see what I can find out. Because she mentioned that she supports fracking, and I thought, well, that's sort of there's a lot against doing fracking for the harm it does.
Yeah.
But I found out that she was, and apparently I've looked on the site as well. She's quite. She's not poor.
None of them are.
The richest of them, but
none of them are poor, believe me.
No. They put her at $1 million or something, so several millions in her worth. Anyway, but I didn't ring up about the wealth that she was chairman of the Global Warming Policy Foundation.
What does that mean?
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I was trying to find out why she's supporting fracking when it seemed to be looked upon as being very harmful.
We should be charging in the opposite direction. Why do we want to keep ourselves dependent on fossil fuels?
That's what I mean. That's why I'm surprised she is, and she's quite entrenched in this organisation where she was a chairwoman. Her father's actually. Isn't he the director? Well, anyway, it's in the family as well. And it's linked very strongly to the States, to America, because she was at one point working for George Bush in America.
George Bush?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's been everywhere. And this organisation, the GWP, anyway, the Global Warming Policy Foundation, I think she's got...
Is it one of these? It's one of these organisations that sounds like it's pro something, but is actually against it, like the European Research Group.
I think I find it quite alarming because the links to the States is that they're quite against some of these zero, the carbon zero things like Trump is.
Right. Well, it's because the Republican Party in America is funded by the oil giants and the gun people, and all the stupid laws and directions in which that country is travelling is dependent on who is paying the world's most powerful political party all of its money. I mean, obviously, millionaires and billionaires do not give away their cash because they're nice people. They give away they lend their money to an organisation in expectation of making more back. It's an investment. And as we've seen over the course of the COVID catastrophe, if you invest a small amount in the Conservative Party, it seems to be, by complete coincidence, you cash in like a bandit. It's really quite amazing how little it takes to make a vast amount. But I'm sure it's completely coincidental. Thanks for that, Jan. Chrissy says the public need... No, read that. Holly says, I am literally dreading next week's disgustingly hot weather.
Disgusting.
I'm going to have an ice cream for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Also, I'm really concerned about the welfare of the creature on top of Fabricant's head during this weather? Can we start a movement to try to liberate it from his sweaty head? Ew. I didn't really want to think about that, Holly. But thanks a lot, Holly. Right before bedtime, too. How many more have I got? Oh, only 16 pages of closely typed texts and emails. Are you kidding me? So I'll have to wipe those up tonight. 16 pages. That is a record. Huh. So that's going to be my entire show tonight. Getting through the previous show's emails. I am very bad at this job.
Correct.
So anyway, they were asked about the NHS. Of course they were, all the candidates on that show. The contestants. Fishy Sunak said that people are piling up on waiting lists. He probably shouldn't have put it like that, but that was apparently what he said, piling up on waiting lists in the NHS. And he said that this justified his decision to raise national insurance despite it not being, quotes, politically convenient. No, Fishy, it does nothing of the sort, because your party told us that if we voted for the Brexit mess, then we were going to have 350 million quid a week for the NHS. Why do you need to put up insurance, national insurance, to pay for it? It was going to get paid for already. That's what you promised. The fifth question of the debate was asked by an employee of the NHS who wanted to know what the candidates would do to fix the backlog in the hospitals. Sunak said he could be trusted with the NHS because he had already backed it at enormous cost, like it came out of his pocket. Kemi Badenoch revealed that she had already been waiting several months to get a routine dental appointment after chipping her tooth, and described the backlog as terrifying. And that to set my bells going. Because apparently Kemi Badenoch's husband works for Deutsche Bank. You know, the banking racket. No! And unless he works as a cleaner, you'd think that on her salary of 84 grand, and I assume at least that for her other half, you'd think that she'd have been able to go to a private dentist if she was in pain. If she would chip her tooth. What's she waiting for an NHS appointment for? I mean, who with a bit of money doesn't go to a private dentist, considering it's practically impossible to get one on the NHS? And so I thought, I wonder what her husband does for Deutsche Bank. I mean, is he on security? Is he the bloke with the peaked cap who, waves to people as they come in the building? No. According to The Sun, Kemi Badenoch's husband is the global head future of work and real estate transformation at Deutsche Bank. Now, I've got no idea what that means, but it sounds like he's a higher up to me. He's been working there for more than 12 years. If he's not a multi-millionaire, I'm a blancmange. So why is Kemi Badenoch saying that she is waiting in a line for an NHS dentist when she could just zip to the front of the line by paying £1,000 or so? Curious. Piqued my interest. I think the lady doth protest too much. Right, I'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock. I have to get right to the bottom of this, see what's coming up next, because the script is right at the bottom. Who will it be? Richard Spur is here from 4 o'clock, but right now it's Clive Ball.
Nick, thank you. So we'll talk more about Britain's next Prime Minister. They're battling it out in the search for who gets the top job. But have any of them so far shown you that they've got what it takes to run the country? Who won the debate as well? I'll be talking to a body language expert about what they gave away and didn't say. Also later, UK households throw away nearly 100 billion pieces of plastic every year, according to a massive new survey. Should we be doing more about the mountain of plastic? And we've got some new research about how much alcohol we should drink. And it might be good news, but only if you're an older person. More on that coming up after the news at 1 on LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 1 o'clock, Penny Mordaunt says she took the attacks on her campaign to be the next Prime Minister as a big fat compliment. All 5 remaining contenders have been questioned about trust in the first live TV debate. Conservative MP Michael Fabricant is backing Penny Mordaunt, who's leading the polls. He's told LBC her lack of cabinet experience may actually work in her favour.
In a way, she can say this is what she would do if she was PM, whereas if Rishi were to say and does say, well, I'm going to do this, this and this if I were elected Prime Minister, people would say quite understandably, well, hang on for a minute, you've been Chancellor of the Exchequer for the last year or so, why didn't you do it then?
Rishi Sunak has so far received the most votes from Conservative colleagues. The other candidates remaining in the race are Kemi Badenoch, Liz Truss and Tom Tugendhat. Downing Street says discussions on the heatwave will continue over the weekend. Temperatures could reach a record 40 degrees next week, pushing the UK into a national emergency. Train operators have warned passengers to avoid travelling on Monday and Tuesday unless their journey is absolutely necessary. Susan Schofield, who used to be involved in the Cabinet's emergency planning for the UK, says it's crucial to forward plan. 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 It's crucial to forward plan.